My name is Kate. Ever since I went to my high school reunion, I've been influenced by the conversations of those around me about aging. I'm 31 years old, and I'm starting to be conscious about anti-aging and detox. Today, I want to share a story about my life detox that took place 2 years ago. My husband of 2 years, David, was 2 years older than me, and he was a very experienced IT engineer. He was the so-called elite who was in charge of system construction and security development of popular applications, and I used to work under him. Well, I left the company when I got married. IT engineers are, for example, if there was a system failure at a client's site, they would be called out even in the middle of the night and urgently handle the issues. When both of us led such a life, even if we adapt the practice like the one who notices is the one who does it for housework, the livelihood inevitably became neglected. And David thought, I come home exhausted and find the house in mess. That should end with my bachelorhood. In response to his desire for me to take on the household matter, I became a full-time housewife. Fortunately, David earned good income. Thanks to that, I didn't need to work. And we were still able to keep a standard of living that allowed us to live in a condominium in San Francisco. He came home at a random hour every day, and sometimes had to stay overnight in the office. It was a challenge to adjust his work schedule. But as a full-time housewife, I had a lot more time than I did when I was working. I am more relaxed. This style of life was a good fit for us, I thought, until he started working from home. Kate, please wash these. What David passed me was a pair of socks that he had just taken off and still had warmth of his feet. And for him, he was reclined on a long sofa and watching YouTube. Our laundry room was located diagonally across the living room. It was less than 10 feet away. He had no intention on bringing his own socks. Hey, why don't you at least take your own socks? I thought I had no choice and complained lightly. It was normal for him to take off his clothes and leave them on the floor. In the morning, his pajamas were left around, like peeled skins. At the time, I thought, he's busy and comes home late. He's trying to sleep as long as he could. He wants to minimize the time to get ready in the morning. That's how I understood. However, ever since he started working from home, he was often not particularly busy except during meetings. He seems to be working at his own pace. In addition, his work did not require him to go to the office as long as he had the PC. Everything could be done at home. In short, he was home all day, every day. Thanks to this, a bit by bit, I began to notice the do-nothing part of David. Besides, I was no longer allowed to make noises in the house. Once, not on purpose, the door slammed quite hard. At a time. Shut up! Don't you have a consideration? Yelled David. Wondering if he was working, I fearfully looked at the screen of his computer. It looked like he was just surfing on the net. I honestly had no idea what he was so irritated about. I apologized. I'm sorry for making so much noise at a time. Some people dislike loud noises. It was a fact that I made the noise. So it was my fault. But in addition to making noises, he ordered me to wipe his keyboard, clean the bathroom every day, and put on my makeup no matter what. He was so focused on the smallest details. It was like a movie of the olden days. Like the other day, "Why haven't you polished my shoes?" he accused me. If he needed them for work, I get it. But he was just going to the deli to buy a magazine. No one would have cared about the unpolished shoes. And they were not even that dirty to begin with. If you cared so much, do it yourself, I was thinking. But I was too lazy to talk back to him. So I suggested him to wear his sneakers. He was reluctant. Better than dirty shoes. He put the sneakers on and kept complaining as he left. Before we were married, David wasn't so picky that he could care less about dirty or clean. When I visited his apartment, where he lived alone, I found not only the leftover from his takeouts, but also unexplainable used tissue papers all over the place. It was close to a messy room. There was a mysterious rule. He was particular about the placement of his TV remote, but I was never blamed if I misplaced it. He had just put it back where he wanted, and that was it. By switching to work from home, I had never heard of people changing. What had happened to him? Does COVID affect people's personality too? I watched the news from a different point of view. Well, work from home can't be for long. I'll just have to be a bit patient. I didn't worry much about it. But David's company showed no sign of ending work from home. On the contrary, there is no need for programmers to come to the office. Just work from home except for sales. So he was told. David was not in charge of sales, so basically, he was going to be home all the time. Thinking back on it, working from home without a boss must have been comfortable and liberating. Since he got the extra time, he started to notice the details in the house, and as a result, his demands for me must have increased. "Lunch is ready!" When I served him lunch, he blatantly frowned. "Oh, come on. I had just been crammed in a hard work, and I get such a crap for lunch." Crap? I wasn't gonna let him pass on this one. Staring at the carbonara, it was his favorite dish. I made the sauce myself. I put a lot of time and effort, and he called it crap. Carbonara was crying. "I'm making good money, you know. Serve me a Wagyu steak or something. I work from home and don't even have a chance to go out for lunch." "Okay. I'll order in tomorrow. And you pick whatever you want." I was upset, and I started eating the carbonara first. In a situation like this, it was best to just let it go. If I cared, I lose. "What? I have to choose?" "That's right. I don't know what you want to eat. Even if I choose, you would say, 'No, this is not it.'" David became emotional at my rebuttal. "You know what? Why don't you show a little more devotion? Don't you have an affection to cater to your hard-working husband? If you want an instant energy booster, how about glucose?" I asked with a straight face, and he retorted, "You have no respect for me. To begin with, you are 2 years younger than me. You don't even show your support to your husband. You're trying to humiliate me." "How are you humiliating your own house? No way." I was twirling carbonara beyond the limit of the fork. "Since I've been home, you've slacked on your chores. And you've been lousy with me. You need to take better care of your husband." Okay. I do care a lot." I was too annoyed to argue, so I blurted, "Okay. Good. Be more attentive from now on." He made a makeshift meaningless comment as he went back to his piece. It's so frustrating, but let's have carbonara. I expected 2 portions. I'm already full, but I'm gonna stuff myself. No! Suddenly he yelled. I was so startled that I almost choked on my pasta. There's no coffee! What the? Coffee is in the usual place. There's some left over I made earlier. It's cold, so put it in the microwave. I didn't think I said anything strange. I always took what he left in the pot. But he was like, "Are you telling me to drink a leftover coffee?" And gave me an outraged look. No, just put it in the microwave. You are unbelievable. You're living on my money. You would never have gotten married if I didn't exist. He groaned after his insults. I really did marry. Snap. I heard something pop inside me. I see. Living on your money. I was told to focus on the housework. I was just doing my job. You are useless even though you have the money. So full of himself. The disconnected line in my head automatically restored itself, and the plan I had prepared just in case was now starting. Okay. Put your mug down. I'll make you another coffee. When I told him, he replied, Great, just so you know, and held out the mug. I took it and went to the coffee maker. He was so engrossed in his screen that he wasn't looking at. I quietly poured the cold coffee in the mug. Here you go. At the same time as I said it, I tipped the mug over his head. Droplets of black coffee dripped from his hair. He was silent for a moment, not understanding what had happened. What? He turned to me, mumbling. What are you doing? My PC is wet too. Milk is coming. I cut him off and drizzled coffee mate on his head this time. Oh my God! It's in my eyes! Stop! Stop, Kate! I am so glad you were pleased. Here's the sugar. Ignoring panicking David, I sprinkled sugar on top. Here is my signature coffee. Please enjoy. I teased him like an annoying waitress, stretching out the end of my sentence. Ew! Stop fooling around. I'm all sticky now. I'm so glad you pleased. Please, enjoy this too. Wait, what? With that, I opened Skype on my phone and sent a video to an acquaintance. What are you doing? David was dumbfounded. It was understandable. He probably didn't realize. In fact, I had a camera installed in our house to keep an eye on my beloved cat. She was like my own child. I felt at ease when I could see her while away. And the camera recorded everything David had done and said since he started working from home. I had lost patience with his increasing demands with each passing day. I saved the recordings, just in case. It showed David yelling at me for not meeting his ridiculous expectations and denying my character. It recorded his abuse that were totally against the latest laws and regulations. It may be unnecessary, but... Mommy, David's feet are freezing. The mama's boy calling out to his mother with the thumb in his mouth. Was also vividly recorded that it was shameful. Certainly, there had been behaviors that made me suspect mother complex. It was exposed by his sleep talk to the light of day. He wouldn't have been able to deny. All of this data was sent to my ex-colleagues via Skype. They work at the same office as David. In other words, his current subordinate. In a short time, a series of incoming Skype calls came to David's PC. I don't have time for this. He reluctantly answered the call. Hey, David, what the heck is this? As soon as the line was connected, the guy on the line sounded puzzled and lost. He was my ex-subordinate. What? What is it? What's wrong? I don't get it. Well, Kate sent me some kind of video. A video? What did you do? He took his eyes off the screen and asked me. No clue. I guess you can find out yourself, can ya? After such an exchange, he opened the file that had also been sent to him. Mommy, I like my pudding with sweet caramel sauce. David was sleep-talking as he hugged the pillow and drew. What the heck is this? His face was burning and squealed. What do you mean? You're pretending to be a pudding critic. I replied with a smirk. Stop being a jerk. You know what's going to happen. What's going to happen? What are you going to do to me? You and I are going to be strangers from now on. Can I take it as a threat? He made the dumbest face I'd ever seen, like a goldfish gasping for air. Don't you realize what's going to happen? I'm saying I'm divorcing you. You and I are now strangers. What are you going to do to me, stranger? There's no way you can decide on divorce alone. Oh my gosh. Are you still saying such a thing at this point? Have you changed your mind about leaving me? I'm sorry, but I'm not your mommy. My husband exclaimed at my words. Enough with making fun of me. I'm not making fun of you. You demanded me to take care of you like mothers do the children. Once again, I am not your mother. So, I'm leaving you. David was agape, unable to argue. I married the wrong man. I'm leaving you to start my life over. Goodbye. I gave my last words and left home with my cat and a few belongings. 2 years have passed since then. After the divorce fiasco, David contacted me for a while. With a woman like, I want to get back with you messages, our divorce was finalized. After that incident, I got in touch with my ex-colleague. I was told that the video was spread throughout the company, and David is still feeling ashamed. I was also told that he is called Pudding behind his back. He's no longer working from home and comes to work every day looking shabby. Because he didn't need to do any housework for a while, leftover takeouts and plastic bottles have accumulated his apartment. He apparently whines that the damage over a divorce is slowly spreading. He deserves it. As for me, I lived on the savings I had saved up before I got married for a while. Then I started working as a freelance IT engineer about a year ago. Since I was not affiliated with the company, I can spend my time freely and at ease. I've already had good skills, so I am making more money than working in a company. So I have a lot of freedom. Not long ago, there was my high school reunion, where I met my first boyfriend in life again. He is now on the soccer team and is now a sports instructor. He often coaches famous athletes. My heart was pounding when I saw a thinner and more muscular man. And to my surprise, he was also divorced. We kept in touch after the reunion and built a close friendship, in which we could open up the way we never did in high school. And the other day, he finally confessed his true feelings for me. I can't think of remarrying yet. I mean, I'm really enjoying my job right now. But both love and work or smooth sailing. I have been reflecting on how I made a mistake marrying the wrong man. And I will choose the path that will lead to my utmost happiness this time. My life has just begun.